210, your name and where you're calling from?
Cindy Gabriel. I'm calling you from Texas.
Hi, Cindy Gabriel from Texas. How can I help you today?
I'm one of the 100 people you mentioned earlier that asked for a private reading, and so I just sent you my Skype address to connect it with the correct email address.
Okay.
That's the way you're going to be able to connect with me, right, for a reading?
Yes. A lot of people sent me a Skype name that didn't have their actual name that lined up with the email they sent me.
Okay, I connected that when I heard you say that at the beginning of your show. I'm kind of calling you for several questions. I listened to you when you were with Mike and Peter, and I'm curious to know if I'm with my right soul family, if I'm on the most perfect path for myself. You know, what do I need to do to claim all my power? And those are more of the essential questions I have, and there's just another one that I'm questioning, kind of this convergence that's happening all around me on a business level.
Okay.
And those are my areas.
What I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of your day. Be as descriptive as possible when you first woke up. Tell me if you dreamed the night before, that night, and give me about this 45, 50 seconds out loud.
When I first woke up, I listened to all the noises, the people's voices around me. Everyone was awake in the house. And I got up because my son came in to talk to me about he was troubled with how short his hair was cut the day before.
All right, I've tuned into you. You don't need to go any further. Your energies are very unique. The soul family that you're in you are in the right soul family, to answer the first question. But your soul family has been hamstringed by fine print contract that goes several dozen generations back, where you're linked to a French family lineage that has a family crest. And this family crest is the ultimate lineage blocker for you. Do you have any knowledge of a French lineage on your mother's side?
No, I don't. I've not researched anything on my mother's side as far as ancestry.
Well, it would be a very good idea for you to go on Ancestry.com and invest an hour or two in it. Right away, this family crest that comes forward is a lion and a sword, a cross sword on the other side. And this is indicating you were part of the organizations, not the Templars, but that were going to fight inside the Holy Lands and defend Israel. And that right there means your warrior side of the family was tied up into the entire drama of that situation. And that is what's hampered your actual soul family from expanding the true illumination. You are called Jinn-Ak, and Jinn-Ak are a subspecies of Arcturian. The Arcturians split into two species for a while, and just because they were expanding their consciousness, they decided to split into two species, and the Jinn-Ak found their own planet a very, very, very far distance away from the Arcturian homeworld, and they set up their own colony, they set up their own homeworld, they connected to the sacred feminine of that world, and after a while, the species began to thin out because the Arcturians wanted to reunite themselves. But the Arcturians always kept a door open. If somebody wanted to take a few lifetimes off, they could go to the Jinn-Ak homeworld. And the whole purpose of the Jinn-Ak homeworld was to connect to people that are musicians. Are you a musician this life?
No, but my children are. My son is specifically.
Okay. Anyone else in your family a musician?
No.
No, just your son.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should be a musician this lifetime, quite literally, because the Jinn-Ak homeworld is a place for musicians to come and expand their consciousness evolution through sound and through music. They are tremendous healers of sound and vibration. The Jinn-Ak homeworld also has a direct relation to the Lemurian time, similar to the other caller. You would regularly come to this world in a migration pattern as a physical being and do healings here with song. And you are related to the Seven Sisters who are the singers and healers. The Seven Sisters is a spiritual organization as well as a physical organization of healers that existed from the Pleiades, but spread out in concept among many, many other worlds because they were looking for the best healers that could use their auditory singing voice as well as their musical instruments to literally generate a positive vibration within the soul family so that they can break negative incarnation patterns. Now, what's going on with you in business right now is that music, but it's not in the same form as music. As you were saying, there's a tremendous amount of things that are coming to you on a business level, but the self-sacrifice of the business level has really created a impasse in the sacred feminine energies that you have right now. And how often in business have you had to put aside your feminine side and be aggressive in male energy to keep it going?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I don't know. I think that when you're dealing with the aggressive business world, you tend to have to pull more of that out of you. But I try to keep a balance and not get caught up in the egos of the business world. However, it's difficult to avoid.
Right. And that's what's caused this, I'll just say, effect of you pushing your sacred feminine energies down on a regular basis. Because what I'm sensing from you as you're telling me about your morning is right away you would have to put on the clothes to go to work. And when you did that is where you allowed your sacred feminine energy out. But when you actually got to work, your sacred feminine energies was stuffed back in. And many, many, many women in the business world do this simply because when you're a shining, bright, sacred feminine energy in a workplace, you become a target. And therefore, you must bring more and more of the male energies to balance out the fact that you're not going to be a shining feminine source of energy. The business world is a cannibalistic world in its own sense of concept, but not physicality. And when somebody is a massive sacred feminine beacon of light, they get taken out very fast or get abused very easily. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how do you maintain that beacon of light? How do you maintain the feminine energy?
You have to do
in the business world.
You have to do it outside of the business world. That's the key. You're in this habit pattern that the business world says you can't be that way. But to be that way, you have to have personal, ceremonial, and ritual times away from work that allow the sacred feminine out in sharing of sisterhood with other women that are learning of their sacred feminine. So you have to be in women's groups. That's one way. Spiritual women's groups would be outstanding for you. Going to a drumming session, a drumming group that has women or men in it. You need to be the musician this life. That would be a way of really countering the effects of having to stuff down your sacred feminine.
There's some spiritual women groups that you can recommend, or how would I seek them out?
You're in Texas, you said? Where are you at right now?
In San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio. I'm not familiar with San Antonio, Texas, but if you go do a search, drumming groups, dance groups, in your zip code in Google, they're all zip code sensitive, and then begin to look at the different places, like coffee houses oftentimes have advertisements for drumming groups or different parks. And this is where you have to let yourself do the search. And the search itself is going to be your own little quest, because there's going to be the business side of you that says, ah, shucks, I just need to do this, 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 and this. And then you're never going to find those spiritual expressive groups. So quite literally, you have to do the searching, and when you find it, you're going to find a completion of yourself by literally completing the task of searching. And that's where your first layer of illumination and clarity is going to come about the sacred feminine energies that are in you. Being a part of a drumming group is very, very important for you. It doesn't just have to be drumming. It could be a singers group, anything that deals with musicians. That would be an outstanding way of reconnecting with your sacred feminine and allow it to shine like the beacon it's meant to.
Okay, some of that makes some sense to me, because about 3 months ago I brought in a special drumming, a female drummer who ignites through drumming, sort of a harmonious message in our business. And so she came in with 100 drums, and the entire business group got together and kind of got connected. And then just this week I thought I would take voice and piano lessons because my children are so musically inclined. I thought I would kind of participate to have some common with them. So maybe I just need to keep pursuing that. I think I asked you if I was on my most right and perfect path.
Doing the drumming or music, all of that is outstanding for you. And when you say right and perfect path, the answer is there is no right and perfect path until you fully reclaim your free will and understand the contracts that you're in. Until that time, no, you're not on your right and perfect path, but you're heading in a really good direction. Free will is one of the damned if you do, damned if you don't things, because free will allows you to take any path that you need to learn from. So the term right and perfect doesn't apply to you because you're shining your sacred feminine energy to light up the sacred feminine of other women. You're here to share that energy with them to empower women. That's your purpose here as the seventh sister from Janara. That's quite literally what you should be doing, is empowering women. Maybe you can start a women's safe volunteer group where they go into the crisis centers or do a donation drive. Is that something you could do?
Yes, I believe I could. I pretty much can do whatever I want to do. So yes, I think I can. Earlier, you spoke to my sister, Rosin, and we are actually half sisters. We share the same father. I know she was talking about some of her childhood with you, but we don't share the same mother. Mm-hmm. And we didn't become friends and really close as sisters until we both were in our almost 40, late 30s. Mm-hmm. What is the connection that her and I have together from previous lives or previous?
You and her came together in this family to resolve energies that were from the Muslim conquering of Jerusalem, actually. Both you and her were on the opposite sides, and Jerusalem was conquered many times back and forth, and both of you were stuck into that incarnation pattern of war. And when you figured out how to break it back then, both of you left this world for 2 incarnation patterns and returned to your home worlds and regenerated, and then met in a safe space in between worlds, and you figured out a way so the 2 of you could plan your life separate of each other, and yet would come together deep in the future and resolve, and you would have resolved many of the negative karmic patterns that you were forced into at a younger part of your soul age. In this lifetime, you came together at a later age in the same concept because you both had to go through your own learning of this time, but had a similar foundation, and the foundation being, the family you grew up in. And now as you 2 come together, your purpose coming together is to be ceremonial sisters, quite literally, where the 2 of you can lead ceremonies for other women of sacred feminine energy and empower the healers to come forward, to give an opportunity for the voice of women to stand up and claim their free will over the bigotry of man.
Am I able to accomplish that?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can. You have to give yourself. You have to give yourself the space, the desire, the energy to succeed, just as you would succeed in business. You have to apply all the knowledge you learn from business to this other source for its whole purpose of empowering women to come forward. So there's a big group of people saying, no, we reject bigotry. We accept free will. Women have a right to their voice. That's what you and your sister should be doing, quite literally, empowering women on many aspects, starting organizations and groups and making sure that an aggressive woman with male energy doesn't dominate the situation but allows everyone to speak their mind. Making sure that the proper management's in the proper space so it thrives and it functions normally. By doing that, you can be a great force of change for all the women who are suffering under the thumb of domination and control. I know that's a lot for you to take in, but you're a very powerful soul and you know it. It's just time that you applied yourself to the concept of freedom for all womankind.
Andrew, what is your opinion, since you focus so much on the female energy and about the male bigotry in the kind of aggressive business world? It seemed like you mentioned women are very repressed and dominated, but how do you feel about what your connection is as far as the same gender or opposite genders? I personally am connected to have interest in female energy, but in women. And so physically I'm attracted to women over men.
Okay.
Is that me looking for that female energy all the time?
It is, but also how might I put this? When the homeworld you come from is very specific about bonding women and men into chemistry musical groups. You're part of the Seven Sisters, which means that you put a sisterhood of musicians together who incarnate in the same life pattern over and over again. So all of their incarnation patterns are representative of the same seven sisters incarnating at the same time with similar contracts to become powerful healing musicians. So for you, you're bonded to that female energy because that's what you're looking for, the other seven sisters. And as for me, I've spent many lifetimes as a woman, and many lifetimes as a man, and many lifetimes as just an energy being with no sex. When I accepted the galactic historian responsibility, I had to find a neutral perspective, the sacred neutral perspective where all sentient life is equal, including the sexes are absolutely equal. It each has a separate purpose as part of the synchronicity of creation. And when I see the womankind of this world, I see how the domination and control has affected them on a soul contract level, which has truly limited their entire incarnation pattern. And that's why I so firmly support women's groups, and I support sacred feminine energies. But I also support masculine energies that connect to spirituality. Women have a womb, and that womb is a separate axis to the great source of the original mystery of the universe. Men don't get that born in them. They have to seek it externally. And that's just a function of the way sexuality and male and female work on this world. That's why so many men are addicted to sex and going after so many other women. They're looking for that womb connection into the universe, when in fact men are meant to go out into nature, into sacred places and chakra points on the earth to find that, instead of only through the sexuality of a woman. And when we come to that, go ahead, sorry.
Well, it was just a question about, are all of us meant to experience what people refer to as a really strong other connective soul, connective chemistry? Maybe people use the word, soulmate, but are we all meant to have that strong connectivity to another soul?
Yes, actually, and that comes from your soul family. But so many people get born into a family that doesn't have all of their soul family a part of it. So what that means is you're constantly looking and not finding that energy, because part of your soul family is on the other side of the earth instead of being born in the same town or the same state as you. So when that go ahead.
I'm sorry, but you said that I was in my soul family.
Yes,
you're
one of those people that is in your soul family, but the rest of your soul family, the complete soul family, isn't there. It's like think of business. If you don't have a shipping and receiving department and you sell products, what happens?
Can't go anywhere.
Exactly. And that's what happens to people. They're missing vital parts of the soul family that complete the matrix of energy and consciousness exploration. Sometimes you don't ever need to meet the soul family member. Just them living on the world at this time can complete that matrix of energy. Where other times, to resolve the soul family karma or the soul family lessons, they just have to be near you, just a partner for one brief moment. We don't get that in this world because we're so separated on a massive scale.
So what is what is the case for me then? Am I missing some vital components of my soul family, or do I have enough, or am I supposed to make some other connections that I've not had the opportunity to make yet?
It starts with music and allowing the synchronicity of exploring music so that you find the same people that are from the Seven Sisters, because they're out there waiting for you to claim your musical heritage, to connect with it on a psychic and sacred feminine level, and then begin expressing it so that the rest of the musical soul family comes forward and you create your own soul family band, quite literally.
Okay. This has been incredibly insightful, and I appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you more one-on-one, hopefully before you're off to Mount Shasta?
Yeah, off to Mount Shasta. Okay. That will be the 22nd and 23rd is the date of the conference, actually.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you.
A pleasure talking to you also, and I'll get a hold of you on Skype in the next day or so.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Take it easy.